Heathens were the dominant force in the world of speedway, but after losing their stadium, the Heathens disappeared from the Black Country sporting landscape. Nearly 30 years on and they're back and looking to rediscover their glory days.
Cradley Heath is one of the, forgive me for using the word, but the legend of the sport.
Signing for Cradley was like signing for Manchester United.
They lost their team, therefore they lost their interest in the sport. Now they've come back.
Oh, it's brilliant. I've got something to live for.
Once a heathen, always a heathen. Come on the lads.
Hello, very good evening. Welcome along to Perry Bar for the National League action tonight as the Dudley Heathens take on the Weymouth Wildcats.
Wednesday night in the Black Country, and the Dudley Heathens Speedway team are reaching the end of a long but momentous season. After 14 years in the wilderness, they're back and are chasing top spot in the league. For lifelong fans like Max, tonight is one of the biggest in over 60 years as a supporter.
When I first saw them go round, you know, the first heat, I thought they'll never make it. They'll be off in the first heat. But no, you know. And ever since then, the smell of the methanol, you know, what they use, gets in your brain. You know, it's absolutely fantastic. You know, the thrills and the spills is marvellous, it is. And as the years go on, it's getting better and better, faster and faster.
Tonight, the hopes of Max, his son Clive and thousands of others rest on riders like 16-year-old Ashley Morris.
He's a very talented 16-year-old kid who's going to go a long way in this sport. He's very fast. He's very fast when he hits the front. Just got to get him at the start.
The red helmet is what you're looking for if you're looking for Ashley.
I lived at Walsall, and there used to be a special train laid on from Walsall to Perry Bar, which was always full.
People pushing you, you know, because you couldn't get anywhere. We had to go down the back of the crowds to get some bricks or something to stand on because we couldn't see.
By the 1980s, the Heathens dominated British Speedway, winning the British League twice, as well as numerous cup competitions. They produced no fewer than 5 world champions, but by the mid-1990s, things began to fall apart. The owners of the Dudley Wood Stadium decided to retire from the sport, and the land was sold to developers, to the horror of the fans.
It broke the hearts of a community without any shadow of a doubt, and I think more should have been done to perhaps work with the club, work with the supporters to maybe try and find an alternative piece of land. There were protests galore, front page headlines in the local paper. There was fury and anger, but the big boys won. Well, this is virtually the entrance area to the old Dudley Wood Stadium. You see reference to it, Stadium Drive, one of the street names over to my right. The turnstile area was just over there on the right-hand side. And where we're stood now, actually, is probably in the bar area, where many a happy Saturday night was spent with a good pint and a good night of speedway. And the pits area was down over at the far end. And again, Race Meadow Crescent making reference to the old stadium. So it's quite emotional being stood here, actually, to be honest.
Soon after losing their track, the Heathens folded. A 50-year sporting legacy reduced to scrapbook cuttings. For over a decade, the Heathens' name was little more than a memory. But then, rumours started to circulate. A group of fans were going to resurrect the Heathens.
We got our heads together and said, look, you know, there is still that groundswell of support. Why don't we give the Heathens fans a team of their own to support once again?
I thought, happy days I'm here again. Because it felt as though they'd never been away.
Cradley never vanished. We just had a bit of a break.
And look at the support for third-tier racing. As a good many elite league clubs would love this support. They would love it.
We're here to stay.
I hope so. I really do. Long live the Heathens.
And on Thursday evening, you'll be able to hear much more about Midlands Speedway by tuning into BBC WM at 8 o'clock. Well, that's it for tonight, but don't forget you can watch the whole programme again on the BBC iPlayer. Just go to our website, bbc.co.uk/insideout. Coming up on the programme next week, a one Shropshire woman came face to face with Saddam Hussein. Actor John Challis meets the men who believe in aliens. And how safe is pedal power, the reality of